I have another video for you guys. It was requested on Instagram that I do a video about public access with a service dog. And this is something that a year ago, when I first started training Cowboy, I had no idea what I was getting into. There is so many aspects that unless you're a service dog handler, you do not think about at all. It was eye-opening when I first started taking Cowboy out in public. Public access with a service dog has gotten better, but it's still not great. I'm going to do my top 5 pros and cons of public access with a service dog. And this may just be 5 period, not 5 each. We'll see how well this works. When I first started taking Cowboy out into public, I did not realize how much I would stand out with a service dog. Many people own dogs. That's not different. When you go to the dog park or the park, you expect to see dogs. When you're in King Soopers or Kroger or whatever they call it where you're at, you do not expect to see a dog in the frozen food section. And until you become a service dog handler, you don't really think about how big of a deal it is. And to you, it's still not a big deal, but to others around you, it's an abnormal sight, which people really want to ask you questions. And many of us don't want to answer the questions. We would like to continue doing what we're doing. So that's one of my biggest public access problems. Colorado has a pretty good service dog law and reputation. I think I've had Cowboy a year and 3 months now, and he's been working in the public for like 3 months. And I've only had 2 public access issues, and they weren't that bad. I showed them ADA laws, and I explained it to them, and the companies were very amazed that it was so simple. And they couldn't do much about it unless Cowboy were to act out in some way. Which he's trained service dog, so that's not really a problem. When you go into a store, they have 2 questions they can ask you. And unless your dog is ill-behaved or not trained or they feel it's not a service dog, they cannot kick you out. And the 2 questions are, is it a service dog and does it provide tasks or does it provide help? It's one of those 2. You don't need to go into depth. You don't have to make it a long process. It's just yes or no question. Yes, my dog is a service dog, and yes, it does tasks to help me in my daily life. Yes or no questions. You don't need to go into depth. Public access, I have found, is if your dog is vested and labeled, even though it's not required, it makes public access a little bit easier because everyone sees, hey, it's a service dog. And then if your dog is trained, they're going to see that. So they're going to be like, hey, it's a service dog, don't touch it, leave it alone. Or, hey, it's a service dog, I don't need to go ask her if it's one or not. So having your dog invest is always nice. But when you don't have your dog invest, you can run into some public access issues. Cowboy works naked and dressed depending on the day. Like today we went to the store and he worked naked. I do have a sleeve on my leash that says medical alert, so he never is really completely naked because I don't like the confrontation. I cannot talk. But there's days that he has nothing. And you kind of have to make sure that you're comfortable where your dog is. You feel like he can show that he or she is a service dog without having something on them. And that's where the public access issues run in. Also, another huge public access issue. Fake service dogs. There's a ton of them out there. Some people know that they're breaking the law, others do not. Either way, they're out there. And they have ID cards. And it will say service dog with your picture and your dog's picture. And stores think that you need them if they see more fake service dogs than real service dogs. And this can be troubling because if you walk into a store and somebody looks at you and says, "Where's your service dog ID?" You look at them and you say, "Hey, the law says you don't need one, those are fakes." They're less likely to believe you because you don't have paperwork that they have seen many times before you. And fake service dogs cause public access issues because of this, and most of them aren't trained. So they have accidents in the store, they're aggressive, they lunge. People don't know what to expect. And they expect the worst from service dogs sometimes because that's what they've seen from fake service dogs. So that's another huge public access issue. This isn't really a public access issue, but when I'm out in public, there's some days I just don't want to talk. Please don't ask me questions. I'm not going to answer them. Other days, if you come up to me and you are seriously wanting to learn, "Hey, this is a service dog. I see that. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. I'm not very familiar." If you want to be educated, I am so happy to educate you, because when one person's educated, then if they pass that information on to another person, it spreads. And soon everybody can know the correct way to act around a service dog, the correct questions to ask, what the process is to even have a service dog. That is something that when I'm out in public, I try to educate. It's because it causes less issues in the future. And that is just something that I enjoy more than anything, having a service dog. Is that if you're willing to learn, I want to help you. That's something that I can do to help myself and fellow service dog handlers. So public access issues are different for each state, each country, each person. So I don't have that many issues. I haven't had enough issues to sit here and complain about it, but public access issues are out there, and most of them can be resolved if you have the correct knowledge and the correct information and pass it along. So public access issues are preventable, and if you help educate others, it makes it even more preventable. So it's something that can happen or won't happen, but it's better if you're prepared. So that's what I have on public access issues. If you have other questions, comment down below. I know this wasn't a ton of information, but I haven't had a lot of issues, so I can't give you much. I can just give you what I know. So if you have any other video ideas, comment down below, and I hope to be posting videos weekly and soon training videos, and a list of Cowboy's tasks and possibly videos of him doing it and pictures. Also, if you want to follow us, we normally post daily on Instagram, and our Instagram username is @ServiceHealer, the same as this YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you guys have a great rest of your day.